Hey everyone, I'm sorry that I am a little bit late to getting this week's issue or episode, I suppose, of the Stitch Along updated, but we are going to be working on our sweater Stitch Along again this week, and what we're going to work on are the chain stitches which create the cables. So here we go, cables, see those? So we're going to work on those, and I'm just going to get right into it and turn the camera down and show you what to do. All right, here we are. This is what, episode 4, I think, and we're doing our stitch along. Now, I have gone ahead and done the interlaced running stitch. Remember, I started this with you guys, and the Cretan stitch. And if you recall, I did take out part of this Cretan stitch down here, and I had left a little bit at the top. And I can definitely see where I improved as I stitched along, and I was able to get tighter. And what I was doing was, it's hard to see now, but there's actually a double line of pre-printed pre-printed dots. And I was following both of those dots in order to get a tighter weave. Now, did I do a great job? No. Do I need more practice at Cretan stitch? Yeah, probably. You can see I had some issues here, and I wasn't super even here, and I kind of don't care. It's done, and by the time we get the whole sweater finished, the only person that will really notice that is going to be me. But this week we are going to work on our chain stitches, and I am going to go ahead and use the rest of my thread. So you can see I don't have a lot of thread left, but I have enough that I think I can come up to the top of my sleeve. And if you really look at how the chain stitches are constructed, you do these little sets of chain stitches so that they cross over each other and they look a little bit like the cable on our cabled sweaters. So that's what we're going to be working on today, and this is, of course, her PDF pattern that you get with all of your kit purchases, which is really nice. And then, of course, I also have my physical copy, so I can use this and compare it to my work as well. So anyway, to get started, I went ahead and I tightened my hoop. I made sure that my fabric is taut again, and I have my needle minder on there. I've got my needle threader for when I need it later. I made sure I had my beeswax, my tiny super snips, which these are up on the website now. And then also I made sure that I had a copy of the handy pocket guide for embroidery stitching, and I restocked this on our website. So if you're looking for a copy, they are back on the website. All right, let's get into this. So we are going to start with our chain stitch, and the chain stitch I think is really fun. I very much enjoy doing the chain stitch, and we are going to start up here at the very top of that sleeve because that's going to make the shortest distance for my thread to travel. Because remember, we try not to have too much thread on the back of our work that's traveling across, because what happens is you can catch this and accidentally pull it through the front. It makes messes, and so we try not to do that. But we're just going to go ahead and pull that through and sort of tighten that up. All right. Again, chain stitch is super fun. So you go and make a loop, and you try to go back in exactly the same hole that you came out of when you are making your first chain loop. Let me just bring you a little bit closer. There we go. So you try to come in and out of the same hole, and then you want to leave a little loop. And I like to leave my loop just a little bit bigger than what I intend for it to be at the end. And I'm going to try to fit, I think, hang on, 2 little chain loops in on this side. So if I'm going to do that, these have to be pretty small. And then I just tighten it down, and then we're going to, again, kind of go into the same, and you can see this over here in our sampler. You're going to go back into that very same hole that you just made and tighten it down. And again, I don't have to take this super tight. I can just sort of set my needle where I want it to go and then pull it down. Now, because these are supposed to overlap, I'm going to secure my stitch by taking it kind of under and making a very, very tiny stitch in this chain right here. And now I'm going to start again, and I'm going to cross over to the side of the sleeve here. And we are going to be making these beautiful loops again. And if you are wondering why we are doing our chain stitch next, that's because there's actually I'm going to call it the order of operations, but it's not really math. But there is an order of stitching, and you can see that here in our PDF where it says embroider these elements in the following order. So we did the single dashed and the double dashed sections because those were the interlaced running stitch and the cretin stitch. And now we're going to come in and do our cable knits. So it's number 3, and it does tell you where to do that on here. So make a nice little loop. And again, we are going to make, I like making little chains. I think the little chains are cute. I don't know. I really enjoyed doing the chain stitches on Ina's elephant, which I made her ages ago. Oh, and now she wants me to make her a pigeon doll. I'm not entirely sure why, but yeah, a pigeon doll. I don't know. I don't know that I want to do that. But I suppose since she asked for it, I should be nice and make her a pigeon doll. Okay, and just like this. So we're just making those loops, trying to go back in and out of the same hole that we were using because we want these beautiful tight little chains so that it looks a little bit like cable stitches. And again, when we come to the end of a section, then you just secure the stitch. So there we go. We're going to come to the end of a section, and I'm just going to take my needle and sort of take a little tiny stitch right over that loop that I've created that will secure it in place. So there we go. Look, it's starting to look like little cables. Oh, such cute little cables. What do you think? Doesn't look too bad. And again, I'm just going to, because I still have thread, so I'm just going to keep coming in and going back and forth and working my chain stitch. And again, I kind of like tiny chain stitches. You could make a little bit bigger chain stitches if you want, but I like the small ones. I think that they really show off those little chains a lot better. And this is also not how I would usually be stitching. Oh, sorry. Usually I am in a comfy chair, but right now I'm just showing you how I do this. So there we go. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and keep working on my chain stitching and go ahead and get the arms done on this. And then when it comes back to the center, you're actually going to do 2 sets of chain stitches. So you will set your chain stitches so that one goes down the inside and one goes down the outside track on this. And see if I can show you that on her piece. There we go. So you can see here that there's 2 lines of chain stitching so that you get a bigger cable. The sleeves have just the 1, and that center cable has 2. So you've got 2 lines of beautiful chain stitching to make it, again, just look like a sweater with a big cable on it. So I'm going to go work on getting all of my chain stitches done because, again, we've worked on this before. And I showed you how to make the chain stitch, and I even talked you through it again. But I'm going to go work on this and get all of my singles done, and then I will be back to show you how to do that double chain stitch. Although, well, I might just finish the one sleeve, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to do the center one. But there we go, little chain stitches, itty bitty chain stitches. And I have to say, not a huge fan of cretin stitch, probably because I'm not very good at it. But if you're really good at it and you have any tips, please feel free to pass them on. Because I have to say, I wasn't super pleased with my cretin stitch. Anyway, so there we go. And just lock this in by taking that extra little stitch there at the end. So there we go. There's the start of my happy little cables. I'm really pleased with how they're starting to come out. So anyway, I will be back again. I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll take a look at how to do the two chain stitch sections side by side here on the center of the sweater. So I'm back, and I have finished one sleeve of chain stitching, and yes, I could have done a little better job on that, but that's okay. That's partially what happens when I'm sitting here and I am trying to get my sample done, not necessarily do my best work. Oh well, it's good practice, and practice is important when you are learning things like hand embroidery. Now I do still have some thread left on my new strands that I put in here. I did go ahead, and you can see back here where here's one of my little pieces that needs snipped off. That was a new piece of thread. There were two new pieces of thread, of course, that I went ahead and hid back behind here and then used to finish my sleeve. And since we are going to come over here to start working on our double set of chain stitches to make that big cable, I am going to go ahead and just use kind of what thread I have here and keep working forward. Let's trim that off. These were some other ends. Now I could go ahead and cut that and start a whole new thread if I wanted to, but I don't. So we're just going to go ahead and actually, let me see where the closest, this is going to be the closest. Well, that wasn't quite where I wanted to start, but that's okay. This is going to be our closest one. Now we have to fit 2 chain stitches in each section of this, not one like we did over here on our sleeves. So we have to have parallel lines of chain stitching. So this time when I do my chain stitching, I will try to set my center stitch for my chain stitching along this line on the outside. And then I think what I need to do is to set it in the center of this white stitch, but I'm going to see what happens. And I may actually end up using the inside line and the outside, not really a line, but the outside edging to do my double chain stitch. And we're going, it's the same stitch we've been doing, where we go in and out of the same hole, and then you draw a loop and you stick your needle up through that loop, and then we pull it tight. And let's see what happens here. So I've got I've got 2 little loops that are going to fit right here. And then I just need to pull, tack, and then let's see what we have going on. Oop, that one didn't do very well. Oh well, I don't care right now. This is the first little section. You know, I may have to set them a little bit closer together. I don't know. I may have to do something a little differently. Let's test. Let's test this. Remember, we can always cut this out and put something else in. Now, I think this one I'm only going to get one little, ooh, I'm not even in the camera, one little loop on. That doesn't look too bad. Let's come over here and try it. So I'm going to go in the center of, kind of try to stay in the center of this white line here. And then my second chain I will try to start and bring down on this side. So let's see what happens. And remember, if we don't like it, we can pick it out or we can cut it out and we can try again. So let's see how this looks. Sort of do the center of the white line and try to keep our stitches sort of small-ish. Ooh, that's not very small. Okay, smaller than I made them. Did not do a good job there, did I? No. Let's try again. That one looks good. That's never a good sign when you hear that little pop. That means you've got some resistance. Okay. Now I suppose if I were doing this properly, I would, oh, I cannot get, there we go. Can't get my needle in where I want it. I would go ahead and do like all of my chain, like all of my first chain, like on all of my sections, and come back in and do all of my second chain. But I'm a little bit concerned about how this is going to fit. So I'm going to do not what I would normally do. And I want to try making my second chain and see where I have to set it. If I put it here, how's that? Oh, that doesn't look too bad. And once I get this figured out, I will go ahead and do like all of the outside chain, then come back and do all of the inside chain or something like that. Not bad. Okay. Now I may change my mind about this, but I think it's looking okay. You'll have to tell me in the comments what you think. Am I nailing or failing? Little joke. Little joke. Put that one there, bring it down, and secure it. Okay, so I think that's going to work. So what I'm going to do is I will go through, let me use my scissors maybe, and I will try to stitch so that my inside edge uses the white line and my outside edge uses this outside line. So we'll do white and then the outside edge and the white and the outside edge all the way down. That's what I'm going to do. I think that's what is going to work best. Now I may come back and decide that it doesn't look very good and switch over. But I think I want to, even though I do have quite a bit of thread left here really, I'm going to go ahead and just finish this off. So to finish it off, I am going to just weave my tail under my stitches that I've already made and go ahead and get a new set of threads so that I can keep working on that chain stitching on the center. So that's all we're going to do this week, is we're going to just work on those chain stitches. Next week when we come back, we will work on, what do we have left? We will work on the solid lines. And those solid lines are going to be the lines that kind of go here that will help define the Cretan stitch and the interlaced running stitch. And then, and those solid lines are all going to be chain stitches as well. And you're going to chain stitch around the outside of the sweater. So actually I might do, since we're doing some chain stitching here, I might go ahead and do most of the chain stitching and then we'll just finish up a little bit of that next week so I can show you. Because once we have that done, then we are going to do the cuffs and collar. So, oh, and I misspoke. So we're going to do all of these lines that run down in the center as our chain stitch. So all of those lines are going to be chain stitch. Then we'll do our cuffs and collar, and then we will chain stitch kind of around the general outline of it so that you can see the edges of the sweater just a little bit better. And I'll show you what that looks like really quick on the finished piece. So like I said, we'll do these chain stitch lines here in the center, and then we'll do our cuff and we'll do that collar and the bottom cuff and both of the sleeve cuffs, and then we'll come back in and do that outline again. So anyway, next week we will work on our collar, our cuffs, and that chain stitch edging around the outline. This week we're just going to keep focusing on all of the interior chain stitching. So I'll see you guys soon with more work done on my sweater. And don't forget to go check out the new website. Remember, that's www.atwistedpicot.com. I have put up so many products, and I put new stuff up. I've got a couple of fabulous new embroidery books that are going on the website either today, probably today, if I haven't already put them up. And then I do have more of that embroidery stitching guide. These are so nice to have kind of just in your general, like in your bag, in your stitching bag, where you're keeping all of your embroidery stuff when you're doing something like this. And I've also put up new, I'm trying to think, new weaving things, new spinning, new knitting. There's all kinds of new stuff up on the website. So go check that out. See if there's anything else that you'd like to see on the website. And this month, so February 2023, you can use the code NEWNAME, that's NEWNAME, new name, for 10% off your total purchase all the way through the month of February, just to say, hey, thanks for shopping with us. So go check that out. Make sure that you subscribed to our YouTube channel, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And remember, it's at atwistedpicot. At atwistedpicot. That's how you can find us pretty much everywhere. All right. See you guys later. Bye.